Today we have with us a very exciting person, which is Mayank Lakhani, who's a co-CEO of Nexdigm. So Nexdigm has a very interesting story. To give you a little bit of an idea, it's a leading professional services group in India with a team of over 1,700 folks supporting businesses across 50 plus countries. And also Mayank has a very interesting career. He started out with Deloitte, and then he moved to Nexdigm way back in 2007. So it's almost like a 15-year plus journey. So I'm really excited to welcome and speak to Mayank and really understand, why is Nexdigm so bullish about the professional services space, about the advisory consulting space, and how are they actually looking at global clients, expanding globally while being in India and also starting offices overseas. So Mayank, my first question to you is, what was your long-term career goal when you started out, and how did you decide to move, say, from Deloitte to Nexdigm, which was much smaller in size back in 2007?
When I qualified in 2002, the whole mindset was having an entrepreneurial drive. So the whole objective of the life is that how you can work as an entrepreneur and not as an employee, wherever you work. So while I had an experience of 5-6 years before I joined Nextime, the whole objective was that I had two choice whether I join some firm which can give me a space to explore my entrepreneurial drive, or I start on my own. Now, after a few analysis and reference check, I thought maybe it's a good time for me to join this particular firm. And when I joined, I was not sure whether I'm getting into a right organization or not, because it was a much smaller than the organization from where I was coming from. It's the entire firm size was not even a department size which I was coming from. But after 2 years, I realized maybe I have come to the right place, because they could give me that platform which will help me to test my entrepreneurial drive. Now, I had two strategies in my mind, and one of the strategy was to grow the organization horizontally as well as vertically. So what I meant by growing vertically and horizontally, when I say vertically, in the sense that there are existing services, you make those services much deeper and much larger. And horizontally means you make expansion of a firm by introducing new service lines, not only within India, and also go global. These are five principles which has really worked from a strategic direction for me. One is retiring from your role, Chantal, right? You always make sure that you retire from your role every few years, maybe 3 years. This will help you to make the space for others, and it will also help others to grow. Second is becoming redundant. Now, when I say redundant, in the sense that not that you become an useless guy, but you become free. You need to learn an art of delegation. You make sure that you have created other leaders so that you are able to focus more on strategic items of the organization. Third is the relationship management. As you understand, this is the heart of the professional service. Finally, you are dealing with humans. Yes, the days are not far where you will be dealing with robots, but still you are dealing with humans in the industry. So that's important. The fourth is decision making. Now, see, often we do a lot of paralysis of analysis, and one of the things which I have learned is it's okay to take a wrong decisions, rather delay in making decisions. At times we so much prolonged into making a decision that the real substance of decision making has gone. And the last one is judgment, which comes only with a gray hair and a white hair. Both are missing in me right now, but I'm sure I have people surrounded me who helps us to hold our hand and guide and coach where required. So this has been the objective with which I joined. And where we were versus where we are, probably that tells us that how these principles and strategy has worked for us. So that's the objective with which I had joined Shenton.
Mayank, when you joined the firm was of a particular size, what was the size of the firm if you have to compare it today?
150 people, maybe 120 to 150 people.
You have to define your first 2 years when you joined the firm, right? What were the things that you did? Like, what was Mayank 15 or 17 years ago? What did you do in the first 2 years of your career?
So there were a lot of discussion with respect to how do we expand the service line. So when I joined, probably I was dedicated to one service line, and as I said, I had a philosophy of retiring from my role. They said that you can develop whatever service line you want to develop, provided you are confident. of developing it. So first 2 years we played it safe. We were trying to use the same people for expanding to the service line. Then we realized that there is a huge scope into the different service line which we are going. And the kind of discussion what we had is that if you can make your top line as bottom line every 4 to 5 years, as I'm saying again, if you can make your top line as bottom line every 4 to 5 years, we are there to support you. And of course, there is no compromise on quality, but we need to make sure that we grow on a continuous basis. It takes a lot of courage and a lot of energy out of you to really grow. And that was a discussion. So I was doing internal audit, I was doing statutory audits also into the firms, and there were a lot of those traditional lines which we were doing it. And uh, you know so my whole thought process was that how do I add more value to the customers? And that's where the diversification started. And we started thinking that how we can become a one-stop solution for a customer on everything and anything which we do it. And that's where we differentiated ourselves and started moving my career from a traditional line to a very different line of a business which can add value to the customers.
Mayank, then now we're going to talk about Nextdime. Give us a little bit of an overview of what exactly is Nextdime. You know, it's a leading global consultancy firm, professional services firm. So could you tell us a little bit about that and what is your focus areas, service lines, team size, offices? You'll have offices globally, and you'll serve clients in 50 plus countries. So
Firstly, let me tell you, the next time is a very independent and a professionally run organization. So, the philosophy is organization before self. So the organization comes first. Organization perpetuity is more important than at any individual, at any level. So what has worked for us is that this organization has always worked on the merit of the leader and the qualities of the leader. It has never gone by the relationship with founders. So that's a huge difference. Those people would be eligible to run the organization. Second, now what has happened over a period of time is that, as I said, right, it's a platform. We allow people to explore a lot of their entrepreneur journey. So we have been able to create lot many entrepreneurs within the organization. They were not the entrepreneurs when they joined us. Maybe after joining us, maybe they realized that we also had that caliber. But people who have made a service line from zero to few crores of rupees in India, and those are the people who have grown here. There are homegrown people who have joined us as a trainee and have become today the partners or maybe a senior leader within the organization. Secondly, the customers from various countries. Now, see, the whole challenge which we had is there is a huge competition in India. Now, how do we differentiate ourselves from the others in the market and focus on something which is different? So, long back, we started focusing on foreign companies coming into India. So, the whole idea is that how can we provide a single window services to the customers in India where we become the one stop solutions for them. We become their ear and eye. So we started visiting various countries across the globe, started meeting a lot of trade chambers, made a lot of alliances, tie-ups. We did a lot of road shows because how do we attract the customers to an India? And this also helped us to, sell the India growth stories because in our road shows we used to, tell people the ease of doing business in India, why it is important India as a country. Now that really helped us to get customers from so many countries. Now so it's not easy, but to get to those customers from those countries, it really took a lot of efforts to reach to this stage. Third is we built a lot of, when we realized that a lot of customers are coming into India, the customers started demanding, we need your presence here. We don't want you to only support us staying in India. And that's where our first international expansion started in 2016. We started our office in Dubai. That was the first ever international expansion. We have been visiting Dubai for 4 years since 2012. But we realize unless you are there, you are not able to explore the market fully and deploy that. And then there was no end to that story. We started expanding to US, then we started expanding to Poland, which is a very different country. And that's where we were able to grow. The next one is that in the last decade, we must have entered into 5 to 7 new business lines or service lines, and which are not traditionally being done by the firms who have CAs, and that's where we could again complement and grow it faster. And as I said, right, the ultimate, the objective, the first time when I became a partner in the firm, in the first vision line was, I want to make my top line as a bottom line, and everyone was wondering how we have so much small ticket size of a customer, how we'll make our ticket size of a customer 5 times. But when there is a will, there is a way. And every weekend we used to sit for a strategy and identify, is there any way to become that large, and we could do it. We actually have grown almost 10 times in last 15 years, Chantal, right? So it is not something, so those things on the business side. But let me tell you a couple of more critical stuff. The investment in the diversity of skill sets, Chantal. Back in 2011 or maybe 2010 and 11, we started investing into IIMs and IITs professional and then engineers, okay, in the professional service world. Now that was very different. No one was thinking at that point in time of recruiting people which is beyond CAs and technology. Yes, people had technology professional for cyber security. We brought these people that has really helped us to transform some of the solution or the services which we were giving. So that was one of the larger investment. Again, that was an out of box idea for us. Maybe 15 years back, how many firms were thinking to hire the people from that space in the size when we were maybe 300 people or 200 people. And the last one is that we reinvested our earning into the company. So it was not that we were taking away. We were reinvesting into the technology. We were reinvesting into the infrastructure, which has to be at a global level. And that's what has helped us to become next time what it is today.
This is amazing. Can you tell me a little bit about your service lines? What are your service lines today? And the next one is, when you talk about professional services, what does it exactly mean?
So, Sentinel, we have two pillars of a service line to start with. We have one is a professional service, and second is a business service. Business service is more focused on the technology-led solution for the business as a business process management. We have a legal contract management, outsourcing, procurement, and a market research. But when it comes to a professional services, we diversify ourselves into different service line, and to name few are like we got into a supply chain consulting, a procurement consulting, a transformation services, a program management. And I'll explain. The program management is not something like you will do a post merger integration globally where you may have to involve program managers for each country to make sure that the post merger integrations are happening properly so that the companies are able to run their businesses properly. We of course went into technology digital transformation also within the service line. We realized in last decade there was a huge demand for the CFO advisory services because a lot of CFOs were getting out of their routine mundane job, and there are a lot of boutique firms which started coming into the market for the CFO advisory services, and we thought that is a service line also which is helping us to become more closer to a customer. So this is all beyond normal advisory services which people will have. For example, we also have an M&A space, transaction advisory, risk advisory, cyber security, the tax advisory and structuring, cross-border consulting. So a lot of those services are there. And one of the unique service line within the professional service for us is ESM. We call it entity setup and management. Now, Chantal, that has been one of the very good service line which could contribute to the overall growth of the firm. I give you the story of how we were probably helping the foreign companies to come to an India, and we will enter into the mind of the customer at the stage when they are thinking of in India, and we will hold their hand till the time they settles in India. Now imagine this service will include helping customer to think about India, preparing a feasibility study, a market research, which will include a research on identifying dealer distributor for that customers, competition landscape analysis, supply chain of that particular product into the market, to helping them to create a business case, which can be presented to a global board, why you need to get into an India. And the moment they decide they want to come to an India, we will further hold their hand to set it up, to register, and then once they are set, we will help them for their all other services beyond the core services, which is accounting, payroll, secretarial, everything and anything what they need. Even if they need a law firm, we will help them to get a law firm. They need an auditor, we'll help them to get an auditor. We will help them to get everyone, a real estate consulting firms. So this service line really helped us to become much closer to a customer, and it helped us to multiply our services portfolio to a same customer, because you are there from the journey when they started thinking about India till the time they've settled in India, and you only allow them to focus on their core services and not anything else. So this is what a professional service for us means, beyond a routine professional service which anyone provides in the market. The program management is another service which really helps us to differentiate.
And what is the service line that brings in like the largest revenue?
As I said, the ESM is a service line which starts from the beginning till the end. So finally, I call it like an ESM product. While it starts with an entity setup, but it helps me to provide a lot of other professional services to the same customer. So for us, that becomes the largest revenue contributor within the professional services as of today.
How did you start your journey, say, from acquiring clients? I know you all did road shows, but when you say road shows, what do you exactly do? Do you go to the US, set up an event, and tell people, at least back then when India was not such a hot country, right?
Yeah, so when you go there, basically you have to do a tie-up with a trade chambers where you are working closely with them, because you don't know anyone in a country, right? How do you go even and make sure that you are able to get the relevant audience also to speak to you and understand that why they should come to in India? So the whole idea is that we started building an alliance with an ecosystem in those countries, and we started preparing a guide for the doing business in India. We started talking not only in India for our services. We never spoke about our services. We always spoke about India. So India was first, then our services. Because the customer is not interested in what you are providing as a services. Customer is interested in why I should come to India. So the first and foremost thing which we are talking about is why India rather than why next time. And I think this really helped us to make a differentiator, and really helped us to get certain inquiries, because people really understood that we are not here to sell our services. We are really there to help them to grow their businesses and partner with them to grow. And once that trust builds, then Chantal, right? Then the sky is the limit. Then they will be there for lifetime with you, and the stickiness of customer will be always there.
So basically, you don't need millions of dollars to do something. What do you need?
So you need to see. You need to have a never giving up attitude. You will fail. We have failed by going into various countries where you may not get the audience which you are looking at, also, right? But finally, if you are consistent in your efforts and if you are persistent into your efforts, I don't think so. You are going to see a failure. I'm sure you will succeed, and you will get the right mindset people, like-minded people in those countries also, who are there to hold your hand and take you to a successful journey.
How does a budding management consulting firm with young partner and leaders approach or reach prospects or clients?
We have a separate a marketing and a sales within the consulting department, right? So we have a very solid branding team also to make ourselves visible onto the right platform. Our people and our leaders are doing quite a lot of a knowledge sharing across the globe. They speak on various platforms. They share a lot of their good case studies and examples of the value at which they could give it to the customers. And over a period of time, we have a database of 2,000 to 3,000 MNC customers. Now, that's a fortunate for us, because so for us to reach out to anyone, either in the past or in the present, some or the other person has a connect. So within the existing database of a customer, we are able to go and reach out to a lot of customer to introduce our new service lines also, because how a customer would know that you have even started this, right? And then you introduce yourself, and we are able to get them at least knowing that we are providing these services. And I always feel that the best way to sell is not to sell. The moment you don't try to sell hard, you start getting customer interested, because again, he will realize or she will realize that he is not here or she is not here to sell their services. He is there to make us aware and help with their experience in the past, to take us to a next destination. And you will get customers. So I have got customers from all the places wherever we have visited, because you make a good friendship with them, to make sure that they understand we are there to support them rather than providing our service.
Okay, so approach people but be genuine. That's very important. Dubai was your first overseas office, Poland, and you have and Poland, US, and Japan. So you said you have physical offices here. I've heard US, I've heard Dubai, Poland. What is it that you see that most of us haven't?
Yeah, so Poland is a unique story. So again, Poland office came as a customer need. Our one of the global Fortune 100 customers were looking for certain services offering, and that service offering required you to understand various languages, be it Spanish, French, English, everything. Now, Poland as a country has a lot of professionals who can speak multiple language, which we don't get it in India, which you don't get it in Dubai or Japan or US. And that's where the Poland was selected to make sure that we get the professional who can read, speak various languages. And Poland is an hub for an outsourcing hub for an European market also. I'm sure you must be aware. There are a lot of people who are there, global compliance center, GCCs and outsourcing centers in the Poland. So that's where we started. We started with couple of services. We are yet to expand into other services, but the whole idea of starting Poland was that, and that's where today we have around 22 to 23 people in Poland office itself, and who are all Polish. They are not the Indian guys who have been moved there. They are the people from that country, and they are working there.
What are your plans for Poland? Like, is it going to scale? How do you see the market over there? And would you want to share some insights?
Right. So we are still working on the go-to-market strategy for that because you can't be focusing on too many markets. So we started with US and Dubai as a focus, and followed by European market. But now we want to just see and explore how we are able to source the business beyond the service lines which we are rendering to our customers there, and slowly expand. But the whole area is more onto the business service side rather than a professional service side of the business there at this point in time for us to focus on in the Poland.
What do you see in Dubai? What is the opportunity in Dubai?
Dubai, we see a huge opportunity with Dubai becoming more regulated, to be very honest, than ever before. That has really helped us, right? So Dubai started a lot of free zones. There are a lot of good zones. So we started with DIFC. We are into the one of the best free zones, or the Dubai International Financial Zone, which is well regarded into the global market. So we started our journey with providing services to the customers in the DIFC itself. Nowhere else. We'll only serve to our DIFC customers. That really helped us. We provide a finance officer function, we provide secretarial, we provide accounting, we provide internal audit. So those are the professional services which we provide in DIFC. Over a period of time, as the regulation started coming into the Dubai, we started working into a lot of those areas of indirect tax and direct tax also. So today we have a very large chunk of revenue comes from that services also. And now we are focusing on an outsourcing. I think post COVID, entire GCC region has opened up for the outsourcing. They don't mind opening a shared service center in India. In fact, we have helped companies to open their shared service in India from scratch, to training, to make sure that they are set up and run well. And they are open to outsource. And now we are exploring in future the consulting services which we are rendering some of the clients, the MNC customers in India, also to provide that in Dubai, because that's where we can synchronize. If the same company has presence in US, Dubai, and India, I think that really helps us, right? We are able to give a comprehensive solution to a customer rather than for a particular geography. So that's what. But we see a very exciting time there. We are looking for, Chantal, almost 5 times the growth in the next 5 to 6 years in Dubai. So that's the stage. We are already investing very heavily. We are moving senior leader from India to Dubai to manage our entire Dubai office. While we already had few leaders, but we are moving it few more leaders from here.
Dubai is going to grow almost 5x to what it is today, and you're very, very bullish on it. So that's a great message for all of us. How does Nextime differentiate itself from other consulting firms, especially in a competitive market like India? Also Dubai. Let's take both. How would you differentiate yourself?
So, so the first thing is, first let me start with an India. So first is, as I said, we are independent and a professionally managed firm. So it's quite a different ballgame than a family-run organization or a very promoter-driven organization where there is only one managing partner. So we are running it quite professionally. Second is, as I said, within India, we have a diversity of pool for talent, which we are able to differentiate. Because when we compare ourselves, of course, we can't compare ourselves with likes of McKinsey, but we are at least able to compare with our tier size firms who have 1,500,000 people. We have equal amount of engineers, IIM, IITs, CAs, and lawyers. So it's not that we are 80% CAs and 20% lawyers and IITs, IIMs, and engineers. There's a huge difference in that, right? So that is a differentiator vis-a-vis the competition which we have. Third is that the kind of multinational client base what we have it in India, very few firms will have such. Our 75% of clients are multinational customers. So if you ask me whether we are dealing with large giant of India, maybe no. But if you are dealing with large MNCs, yes, we may be dealing with them. That doesn't mean we are not focusing on India as a customer. Definitely, we have India also as a center of focus, and we have started getting into a lot of promoter-driven companies in India. And the last point is technology. See, at our size, we have invested heavily into the technology. Today, I have 70 in-house technology people, Central 70 to 80 people who is involved in center of excellence, creating automation, software based services, building products, building software, which helps to bring service delivery more efficient and effective into the market. So these are the 3 4 differentiator which will have it vis-a-vis our size of the firms in the market. Again, I will not compare it with apple to orange. I will just put a comparison with our size in the market. Yeah, so we Chantal, while we do have those service lines which others have, right? We are quite prominent in the space of tax. We are quite prominent in the space of indirect tax. We are quite well known in the market for that. But how do you reduce your dependencies on those services? Because the competition is very stiff there. The pricing is very sensitive there. uh, every now and then there are new firms which are emerging which are competing with you, be it fallout of a big four or a big six starting their own journey. They want to also create a noise into the market. So you need to have something which will reduce your dependencies and risk on those services, and that's where we started, building this. So there are very at our size. I am not sure, but I have not come across with a 1,500 to a 2,000 people firm having so much of multidisciplinary service lines with so much of diversity of talent and a pool which we have. So we are uniquely positioned. Maybe at times we are competing with likes of the big outsourcing firm. At times we are competing with likes of a large consulting firm, and at times we are competing with a professional service firm. So we have a very mixed bag of providing different services. That way we are uniquely positioned. But our overall vision is quite large. So as we become, maybe we may have a two different units, but they themselves would be like a large company within the organization and which will grow faster.
Now, if you want to tell us a little bit, say from 2010 to 16, then 16 to 20, 20 to 25, how do the growth happen? How do the transition happen?
So these are purely organic, Chantal, right? So far, we had 3 small inorganic acquisitions which we did. There are a lot of private equities, investment bankers have shown interest into taking a stake into the company, but we want to build this company for a perpetuity. We want to build this company for a larger cause. So far we have not been, but we have taken, we have special businesses. We have created a special purpose vehicle or a SPV companies for a particular business unit where we believe that alliance is useful. So there we have done a partnership where we will have a joint venture company and make sure that together we are able to build the business. But if you ask me in a very nutshell, 2010 to 16, our focus was more on expanding service line. 2016 to 20, our focus was more on going geographical expansion from Dubai to US to Poland to Japan to everywhere else. And now we say that we have a fantastic foundation. From here, now let's go more deeper into each service line and more deeper into each geography and expand it. So that's a nutshell answer for 10 to 16, 16 to 20, and now on.
Okay. And apart from team, technology, and money resources, what else do you need to actually scale through all of this? It needs team, it needs money, it needs tech.
So the mindset, right? I just say that you will have team, you will have money, and you will have. But team means the right leaders, right? The team doesn't mean that you have only the team to execute, right? The right leader who is running it. Finally, we are a combination or a culmination of people who are running the firm. There is no one individual who is running the firm. Finally, there are 40 leaders which we have. All of them are running it. So that collaboration efforts and the cross collaboration and the cross functional collaboration effort, which really helps. And that I feel is absolute necessary for you to run the firm beyond your individual expertise of team and money and the resources and technology which you will have.
You said there were many challenges. What are the challenges?
I think the nothing comes free. So everything has challenges, and so the one of the biggest challenges is the talent retention. Let me be very candid. So we had a reasonable amount of attrition also. Of over a period of last 6 months to a year, the attrition is reduced, but we had an attrition. So one of the objective was how do we really surpass these challenges, because this is an ever growing challenge. Either person wants to start on their own, they have a better opportunity, or they are moving globally. Because once you start here, we are a very good training ground for the big firms to take people from our organization, right? And that happens quite often. So we are trying to change certain policies. We are trying to bring certain benefits to an employee, not necessarily always on the monetary terms, but in terms of a flexibility as well as the profile change. See, we have not shied away from a person who is an expert in a subject matter to run a completely different business where that person doesn't have an expertise. You will often not see, okay, where you will see a tax guy is running a secretarial practice. Just example I'm giving, who has done his or her career there. We don't mind sending a person who is in India, going abroad and setting up a complete business unit, which is different from the subject matter expert is what that person is. So that has helped in a different way to us. Second is so the whole objective is to create the happiness index. Chantal, the moment you are able to increase the happiness index, the money is not the only criteria for which people stay in the firm in today's world. Maybe there are a lot of other things which people are looking for. And the second one is the current generation, Gen Z and the Gen Alpha. I have two young daughters, 16-year-old, but managing them is different. You can't have the same approach what we have with Gen X and the earlier generation, right? You need to have a different approach. You can't stick to your guns and say that this is how I will deal with it. This is what my organization is. You need to fit into my culture rather than we fit into it. But the next workforce is that. Next workforce demand are quite different. Their outlook to look at the organization is different. They are not necessarily thinking very long term. They are thinking for that I need some challenges now. If you keep engage that person with different challenges, you are respecting them for their innovative ideas, then they are ready to stay. They know money to we'll get from everywhere, wherever we'll go. So that's the second. Third is I told you the pricing pressure. See, this industry is becoming very price sensitive. If you can't provide service at this price, someone else will be ready to provide at that price. So now the challenge lies in how do you provide best service at a best price. Okay, so you people need a better service but at a lower price. I think that's where we have a challenge, and the technology disruption. As I said, we have started moving. Do we have a choice? An entire accounting space may be replaced by technology tomorrow, right? We have so many RPAs. You must have heard chatbots who are replacing a lot of manual work. Earlier, people used to do a lot of reconciliation in Excel. That has moved out. So, how much bandwidth of the people it will take away the technology? So you see, a government is making regulation so easy that government is using technology in a way which makes life easier. Even if tomorrow you need to file a return of income, the pre-filled forms will come. How do you surpass this challenge? So that this becomes challenges as you move forward into the life of a professional service journey.
What are the trends or disruptions you see? You've already covered AI and technology, but anything else you would like to see like 5 to 10 years from now if I'm a CA firm or a professional services firm? There's so much of noise about PE firms investing in CPA firms, professional services firms. How will this disrupt?
You must have heard there is a trend for consolidation of firms, which is happening in India. I may not be surprised if in the next 3 to 4 years we will have 3 to 4 large Indian firms who may be a consolidation of maybe 8 to 10 firms coming together and running a professional service firm in India. What this will do is that firm will become much larger. their service portfolio will become much larger. Their presence within India will become much deeper. The only challenge there is the alignment of a culture and an alignment of a mindset at top, because they are ultimately the promoters of eight firms coming together and trying to run together. But that is a trend which will disrupt the market. So if you are not part of that journey, I'm not sure how you will sustain and grow the business in future as far as the professional service is concerned. Second, globally, there is a trend of investing by private equity. You will hear invariably every month some private equity investments happening into a consulting or a CPA firms. What it will do, it will bring a lot of money. It will bring huge investments. That investment will allow them to invest further into the infrastructure and technology and the talent and to the diversification of service line and geography. So today's you may be thinking that that firm is global, but tomorrow you will see that firm is competing with you in India, because those people have enough money to invest and enough, we call it vitamin M, right, for you to grow and really expand. So these two beyond technology will change the industry the way it thinks. So you have no choice. We as a firm need to keep our eyes open, and we also as a firm is going to keep our eye open on the inorganic growth. We are already in the space. We keep talking to. There are at least 7 8 firms at any point in time we are talking to acquire or merge with us.
And since you're talking about service lines, what are the emerging service lines that you feel, what people should focus on this, but nobody's focusing on this?
As I said, there are lot many service lines where the CAs are getting into. Central, there are a lot of transformational services which people are looking for, and which are emerging service lines for a professional service firm. Yeah, there are a lot of likes of McKinsey's and AT Kearney's of the world, or the Boston Consulting Group are been into that service line. Once you develop a particular industry expertise, that transformational service are something which really makes a value add to a customer, a solution to a customer, be it on a cost optimization, be it on the org structure, be it on whether I should have a shared service center or I should do it in-house, whether I should decentralize to centralize, an operational transformation, whether I should have a factory in this place or in another place, whether I should reduce my depots and still increase my reach to a customer. So these are the consulting services which really makes a difference to a customer. And and if you have a good mix of a talent, which is chartered accountants, engineers, and an MBAs from a B schools, I think that combination of these three skill sets is killing. I'm telling you, because when they three come together, what solution they are able to give to a customer is much different from sometime, you as a chartered accountant, which you will be able to give it. So those are the services which are really coming up. And secondly, service lines which is not dependent on technology, because technology is going to kill all the professional services, if not now, later on. Something which requires the very human involvement, which can be on litigation sometime, which could be on a typical advisor, which cannot be substituted by technology. So we need to start thinking on those service line real to invest and move ahead.
What are you most excited for, and what's the plan for next time?
If I want to make my top line as a bottom line in the next 5 years, and if I want to grow 3 times, what it takes, that itself gives you a lot of excitement in terms of building something, making an organization which is there for the next generation. While I'm still young, but I'm seeing that the next generation can take it over from us and run it quite better. And I have 5 strategic direction. Very quickly, I'll just talk about it. We will deepen our global presence. You already know we are already present in a few countries. As I said, it's very difficult, but the whole idea is to provide better services at a better price than the market. Third is fostering the ownership culture in the entire organization. We have that, but at a leadership level, how we can have it with middle management also, a managerial level also. The fourth is a strategic collaboration. We will be very clear on inorganic growth. We are going to be open. We are going to keep our eyes and ears open to collaborate and make sure that we have inorganic growth. And the fifth is becoming an employer of a choice, where people are dying to join us rather than we are dying to get the people in our organization. So I think these are the 5 strategic direction with which we'll be moving at Center.
So, Mayank, thanks a lot for your time, for explaining things so well, for giving us a perspective and also giving us food for thought, right?